Welcome back. Okay, so this is the most ambitious list I've ever put together 1,450 of my favorite songs. And I phrase it that way because there's probably some I'm missing. Last night, as I was finishing this up, I remembered a couple of bands that I'd forgotten. So that's how we ended up with 1,450. I had intended to stop at 1,400, but I realized there's still some bands that are missing, and there's the chance that there's still some songs that are not on this list that should be. I'm cutting the list off here, and I'm sure that I will remember some bands and some songs that are missing as I go through this list. But we're going to do 1,450. Today is the air show here in Abbotsford, so fingers crossed that I get through this without any major noise in the background. I have not started a playlist yet in terms of I was going to put together all these songs in like a playlist on YouTube, but it's a lot. So if people go through and create a playlist with it, I'm not going to be opposed to that at any point, like a playlist of the songs in order that I put up on the board. But let's just jump in because this could take a bit. So number 1,450. If you play Grand Theft Auto, you know this one. Um, Tell It to My Heart by Taylor Dayne, which is not spelled that way. It is Dayne, right? Yeah, of course. Of course. We'll start off with a spelling error, because why not? At least I caught it. Taylor Dayne, I won't put the by. Where I can, I'm just going to put the dash. So the dash meaning that's who the singer is. So, Tell It to My Heart's a fun song. It's the only Taylor Dayne song that's on the list. There are times with this playlist and just listing songs where I'm like, I don't know if I want that one above this one, but I like that one, and that one's more of a sing-along. Tell It to My Heart's a fun one. Also, 1449 is a fun one, too. I felt like it should be on the list. It's not my favorite from Aqua, but Barbie Girl's there. And Dr. Jones isn't on my list. I could have put Dr. Jones on my list, but then Tell It to My Heart would have been off the list. And I just can't do that. So Aqua, Barbie Girl, obviously a big hit. I don't mind it, but it's 1,449th. 1,448th. Oh, this isn't going to fit. This isn't going to fit. It's going to take two lines. And of course, it's Canadian content. I'm just putting the hip. Locked in the Trunk of a Car by the Tragically Hip. A song that I enjoy, and there are Tragically Hip songs outside of this one on the list. Actually, there's one other Tragically Hip song on the list. I was never a huge Tragically Hip fan, but Locked in the Trunk of a Car is I don't want to say fun because the subject matter means it's not exactly fun, but it's a good song. So 1,448th. 1,447th. So I had a choice between two different songs, which one I wanted to put on the list. And I went with Keeping the Faith by Billy Joel rather than Only Human by Billy Joel. Of the two, yeah. Keeping the Faith, I think, is the better of the two songs. I thought, I don't know which one I like better, and you can see how low this is on the list. So I went with Keeping the Faith. Billy Joel's got a bunch of songs on the list, though, so if you're upset or you're frustrated, I don't know why you would be. It's my list. Number 1,446. Blur is not a one-hit wonder. Unless you're on this side of the pond, meaning this side of the Atlantic. Blur had other hit songs, and Boys and Girls was a hit before song 2. Boys and Girls, it's a fun pop song. These are all pop songs, mostly. Tragically Hip. The hip are sort of their own genre. I wouldn't qualify them as pop. They're rock, sure, but there's a little bit of country in there at times as well, and it's very, very Canadian. Very Canadian should be its own genre at times. But yeah, Girls and Boys by Blur, 1,446th on the countdown. 1,445. Now this one, the title, not a problem. As long as I don't misspell it, which I just kind of did. Two Tribes by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, so FGTH. Frankie Goes to Hollywood, a band that also is remembered as a one-hit wonder. They have 3 songs on this countdown. Two Tribes is dark. It is a very dark song, and Relax is not a dark song. And then the other song that's on the list, not a dark one either, but Two Tribes definitely is. And the video, there was some controversy around the video at the time that it was released. But as I said, I will get a playlist together. I'm not telling, oh, I want somebody else to do it. I will get a playlist together where I put these all in order. I have them in order on my computer. So yeah, Two Tribes. 1444, Dokken. So hair metal is really hit and miss for me. I like Dokken a lot for one album, Back for the Attack. Back for the Attack, when I do an albums list, Back for the Attack's going to be pretty high up, I would think. But Kiss of Death by Dokken is a good song. That is a good song. Does that qualify as metal? See, Dokken wasn't really qualified. A lot of people didn't like Dokken. A lot of people didn't like Don Dokken, the lead singer of Dokken. It's named after him. It'd be weird if it wasn't, right? Oh, is that the band's name happened to end up being my last name? Well, you know, sometimes just these coincidences happen. No. In fact, I remember. Was it Hit Parader? There was one of the metal magazines that I used to buy that they would intentionally publish embarrassing photos of Don Dokken. So we're like, he hadn't shaved in days. He looked angry. They're like, here's our latest ugly picture of Don Dokken, because they hated him. But I didn't hate the music. I had no opinion one way or the other on Don Dokken himself. But yeah, 1444, Kiss of Death. 1443, Culture Club. Told you, this is very different. These songs are all from all over. Culture Club's Miss Me Blind. This one came out when I was a kid. There's a lot of 80s music because you do connect more with music that comes out when you're younger. At least that's the scientific theory, and I agree with that for the most part. Miss Me Blind by Culture Club, fun song. 1443 means it's not one that I have on repeat in the van or anything, but yeah, it's a fun song. 1442. This is a one-hit wonder. It's too bad. At least one-hit wonder in my memory. General Public and the song Tenderness. Sometimes positive songs and positive messages are the best. And to me, Tenderness by General Public. Nice, fun, 80s song, harmless. And there's a lot of that on this list. Just a fun, harmless song. Not one that I listen to regularly. That's how it's on this part of the countdown. But there you go. 1441. There are not very many songs that would be considered country on this list. But when Beyonce came out with Texas Hold'em, I love that song. That song's fun. It's a fun song. I know there are people who didn't like that Beyonce released a country album. I was okay with it. I thought it was kind of a fun idea. And yeah, Texas Hold'em is an interesting song that I felt belongs on the list. Not a lot of Beyonce on my list. That might not surprise a lot of people, but there's not a lot of Beyonce on my list. Number 1440. Another 80s song. Because of course. And a Canadian band to boot. Where Do the Boys Go by Men Without Hats. Men Without Hats, a band that's known for Safety Dance, but they're on this list a few times. And Where Do the Boys Go is the first one. It's a good song too. I wouldn't qualify it as a dance song, but in the 80s we didn't really dance. We just kind of moved back and forth and swung our arms. So as long as you could do that to a song, it qualified as a dance song. None of us knew how to dance. None of us. And if you started dancing separately and you were not doing the same dance as everybody else, people would slowly turn and look at you like there was something wrong with you. Yeah, that happened to me. All right, 1439. It's Billy Joel again. There are songs that get overplayed. I do think that back in the 80s, Uptown Girl by Billy Joel was overplayed so much that it's lower on the list than it otherwise would be because it got played a lot. It's in my head now. It might be in your head now. I apologize if it is. But Uptown Girl at 1439, I feel like that's fair, personally. Which brings us to 1438. And it's the first entry by Fatboy Slim. Now, if I was grading videos, Praise You would get a high mark. Praise You is an okay song with a great video. And I think it's a good example of a song that the video elevated it. And the fact that it was Fatboy Slim definitely helped because he was hot at the time, right? And in fact, I was surprised that Fatboy Slim just kind of went away. There was like a few songs that were big hits and some great videos. The videos Fatboy Slim had were fantastic. Weapon of Choice, what an amazing video. But the songs themselves, I never felt like were as strong as the videos. They were okay. 1437. So, some of the songs on this list might be dorky. And this one is dorky. And the video is weird. The video is bizarre. I could not tell you what Land of Hunger by the Erons necessarily is all about. But it is one of those videos from the 80s where they treated it like a cinematic experience. I remember Boy George talking about how he couldn't stand rock videos because singers aren't actors, and all these videos they're acting like they're in movies, and he just thought it was stupid. And videos like this, probably one of the reasons that Boy George would have said that in an interview. But yeah, so Land of Hunger by the Erons comes in at 1437. If you're like, I've never heard of the Erons, I did get their cassette. I found it for like 99 cents at a discount store. It was 99 cents. 1436. Oh man. I know how to spell this. So, Art of Noise was a very different kind of group. And they had a video with Max Headroom, Matt Frewer, and Paranoia was born. Paranoia is a weird video. It is a weird song, and it'll get stuck in your head. That just the word Paranoia will get stuck in your head if you've watched it. So when I do put together a playlist, you guys are going to be like, I'm not all that happy with Shannon for this. I'm getting songs stuck in my head I don't know that I necessarily want stuck in my head. Paranoia might be one of those songs. 1435. This one was at the bottom for a while I was putting the list together. But it doesn't end up at the bottom. It is Samantha Fox. It is a song that I didn't mind. I mean, Full Force, they had a sound. Just like, Timbaland had a sound. Stock Aitken and Waterman had a crap sound. There were certain, and if you're wondering, go look up Stock Aitken Waterman and you get yourself rickrolled. There will be no rickrolling in this either. Never Gonna Give You Up is not on the list because Rick Astley, I was never a fan. But Naughty Girls by Samantha Fox was Samantha Fox with Full Force. And the video is awesome, I think, as a Samantha Fox fan. And yet, Clerks 2 kind of ruined that song, didn't it? Kind of, sort of. Because you go from picturing Samantha Fox with her pink and blonde hair to Kinky Kelly and the Sexy Stud, which kind of ruins it. Unless you think it doesn't ruin it. And I don't know what to say to that other than let's move along. Okay. This one's a long title. This song is... It's weird that it's a long title since it's a joke. I'm just going to write Weird Al. You guys all know who Weird Al is. This song is just 6 words long, which was a cover of George Harrison's I've Got My Mind Set on You, which is not on the list. Got My Mind Set on You is not on the list. It was a very repetitive song. It was a highly repetitive song. I didn't mind it, but yeah, it's very repetitive. And once you've heard this song is just 6 words long, it's going to take lyrics. It's going to take plenty of lyrics. It's a great Weird Al song. And this is where the song list I'm doing now is different from what I used to do. There was a time where I never would have dreamt of having a Weird Al song on my favorite songs list because I felt like, okay, it's a parody. Doesn't belong on the list. So don't tell THG from 25 years ago because he wouldn't be happy. Number 1433. So let's go back to Clerks 2. I would not have had ABC by Jackson 5 on my list. But Clerks 2 changed everything. So ABC by Jackson 5 at 1433. Sure, why not? Fun song, and I get that Clerks 2 montage in my head. The less said about Clerks 3, the better. But anyways, yeah, there you go. 1432. Oh, man. What's with the long titles? Like, once I get into the top 1,000, that'll be fine, but at least the band name is short. I'm going to apologize to people with reading it on their phones. When the Heart Rules the Mind by GTR. This came out in the 80s. It's a cheesy 80s song, but it is a good little earworm. And I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I remember it came out during the summer. I want to say summer of 85. And the only reason I can get specific is because back in the day, before we had the internet, you'd have to stay up till 11 or 12 o'clock at night to watch music videos sometimes. So I would stay up till 11 or 12 at night hoping to see this video because I loved When the Heart Rules the Mind, but it wasn't like a big hit. So I had to kind of, hope to see it on certain playlists. 1431. Another long title. Come on. Haven't they heard Brevity's The Soul of Wit? This song is still played a lot. Although now it's in commercials. Heaven is a Place on Earth by Belinda Carlisle. So after she was done with the Go-Go's, she went single, or went solo and released this single. There we go. Heaven is a Place on Earth, and it's fine. I don't think there's another Belinda Carlisle song on the list. Circle in the Sand could have gone on there because it drove my mother insane. She'd get that song stuck in her head. And so when it would come on, I'd turn it up because why not bother your own mother? But yeah, Heaven is a Place on Earth by Belinda Carlisle. 1430. This is one that I like, even though I haven't heard this one in a long time, to be honest. Dear Mr. Fantasy by Traffic. And it is the only song by Traffic on the list. Dear Mr. Fantasy is an interesting one. I think it's been sampled too. I want to say that it's been sampled in another song, and if not, it should be. It's got some fun little snippets in there you could definitely crop out and make a good song with. But yeah, Dear Mr. Fantasy at 1430. When I used to do these lists 25 years ago, before I had an internet to post anything to, yeah, I would have that on the list, usually around the 600-700. So, yeah, quite a difference. 1429. Another long title. What is it with me? Hall & Oates. No, You Make My Dreams will not be on this list. Apologies to Toronto Maple Leafs fans everywhere. Method of Modern Love is, though. Method of Modern Love is kind of a funky song in places. There are definitely things I think that would have made it a better song, personally, but it's not my song. It's Hall & Oates' song. And every time I think of Oates, I think of that Simpsons where Lisa's dreaming about everybody booing her with these secondary members of a band, and her being like, why did they buy tickets just to boo us? How well is that aged? Now people do buy tickets just to boo things. But yeah, Hall & Oates, Method of Modern Love, 1429. 1428. Here you go, Josh. Josh, your wait is over. Taylor Swift, Shake It Off. Shake It Off is a fun bop. It's the only Taylor Swift song that's on the list at 1428. So, I mean, it's fun that 28's a double of 14, so there's that. And if Taylor Swift's upset, I'm sure she can just shake it off. 1427. Okay, now we've got a song here that I could recite word for word, but I'm not going to because I don't want to lose subscribers. The moment I start singing, it's over. Lou Gramm, the lead singer of Foreigner, went solo. I absolutely loved Lou Gramm's solo stuff, including Heartache. Heartache is a fun song. Heartache is from the Ready or Not album. Ready or Not was an album that I memorized from start to finish. So when I get to my favorite albums of all time, Ready or Not's definitely going to be pretty high on the list. Number 1426. Oh, this one's a short title. And this may surprise people to see this on the list at all. And that's Kesha. Kesha at 1426 as we reach the halfway mark of this video. Yeah, Kesha's TikTok, good song. Not fantastic song, but an earworm. All right, I was going to close the door there, but if I do, I got four cats sleeping in here. At least two of them will wake up and probably want out, and it just becomes a mess. All right, so Kesha's TikTok, I really enjoy that song enough that it's on the list. 1425 is Kiss. I don't know how well some of the lyrics to some of these songs that I'm putting on the board have aged. And Lick It Up might be one of those ones that's aged kind of poorly. But Kiss only sang about one thing. I mean, every single song, and AC/DC too, they were only singing about one thing, and it was how much they enjoy spending time with the ladies. And Lick It Up is definitely one of those songs. It was also known for the fact that this was the first time they'd been seen without their makeup. And I remember comments about that's why they wear makeup, which was my favorite. But either way, yeah, Lick It Up was... I thought it was a fun song, and if this was the list back 25 years ago, it would have been higher on the list. Probably by a lot. Number 1424. So this is going to happen with my list too. That sometimes the cover will be on the list, sometimes it's not. And sometimes both the cover and the original will be on the list. Live and Let Die, originally sang by Paul McCartney, is not on the list, but the Guns N' Roses cover is. So don't tell my wife, because she does not like Guns N' Roses. And in general, Guns N' Roses is not a band I'm going to go and see live, but Live and Let Die is fun. That one's fun. I enjoy that. And so 1424. 1423. Rod Stewart. One fun thing about putting this list together, I did listen to some songs I haven't listened to in a very long time, including Young Turks by Rod Stewart. Great song that for the longest time I thought was Young Hearts. Young Hearts Be Free Tonight. And then it's Young Turks. So either way, it's a good song. Not like one of my favorites, obviously. It's 1423, but there you go. 1422, another long title. What is my problem? Couldn't I just cut out the songs with the long title? Long titles? Okay, so speaking of albums, Barking at Airplanes was an album by Kim Carnes that I really enjoyed, that I know you haven't heard of, you don't have. I don't know that anybody has Barking at Airplanes except me. And He Makes the Sunrise is an awesome song from that album. That is a song that I used to enjoy listening to at sunrise when I was a teenager. Because sure, I used to stay up all night. That was a thing. Sometimes I'd be like, I don't think I'm going to go to bed tonight. Which is something that even at this point in time in my life still sometimes happens. Although now it's usually dictated by my brain going, yeah, you're not sleeping tonight. But yeah, He Makes the Sunrise by Kim Carnes. Just a very unique song by Kim Carnes too. Number 1421. There will be those who are surprised this song is this far down. But Material Girl by Madonna was never a favorite of mine. Material Girl it's a famous song. Material Girl has a good video. It is a ripoff of a Marilyn Monroe scene. It's from Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, I believe, that scene was taken and used for Material Girl. But yeah, so Madonna's Material Girl at 1421. Just because it's not one of my favorites from her. Oh my gosh, this title. Are you serious? I don't think this is going to fit. Oh, we're good. I look like a fan of LL Cool J, right? Well, I should. Mama Said Knock You Out is a song that I detested when it first came out. I hated it. And then I circled back to it at a later date and went, this song's pretty good. This is a pretty good song. It's not my favorite from LL Cool J. I think there's just the two on the countdown. Like, I'm not like some big, huge LL Cool J fan, but there's one song of his that I can listen to 50 million times and I still want more. But Mama Said Knock You Out's a fun one, so 1420 on the list. 1419, it's Men Without Hats again. This is a brand new song from them too, and I'll be darned. They actually speak to me a little bit in this video and the song. I love the 80s. So they sound different. The lead singer clearly is a lot older than he was when he sang Safety Dance back in 1984 or 83. So understanding that I love the 80s is being sung by a band that's 40 years older than before. But yeah, I love the 80s is a great song. It's fun. And the next time I do this, it might end up being higher up. In fact, for a lot of people, it's going to be Men Without Hats as a new song. Yeah, I was surprised too. So 1419, but all the best to them. Canadian band, got to support them. 1418, another Canadian artist. I don't know how many of these songs are going to be ones that if you're American, you may not have heard. If you're European, you may not have heard either, because there's definitely a Canadian music scene. And Gowan, Gorilla Soldier, good song. Strange Animal and Criminal Mind were the biggest hits from that album, but Gorilla Soldier's good too. Cosmetics is not on the list. I was never a big fan of the song Cosmetics. I was surprised when he released that as a single. I thought there were other songs that would have been a stronger single. But Gorilla Soldier is a good song, good message. There were a lot of songs about war in the 80s. A lot. And some of those songs are now misconstrued and misinterpreted. So that's always fun. Where I'll see it in a commercial and I'm going, I don't think that's the song you should have used for this product. I don't. So we'll get through that when I get to those songs. But at any rate, yeah. 1417. This one's silly, but it's also kind of catchy. And it was a top hit back when Batman, the movie, came out. Prince had the song Bat Dance that was in it. It's a fun song. Go with a smile. Like I remember it. It was a fun song. There are some Prince hits that are on the board. Or not on the board. Just the one hit that's on the board that's Prince, but there are other Prince songs that are going to be in this countdown. But Bat Dance is kind of a forgotten one. I don't remember the last time I've heard it because it's very Batman-centric, right? Number 1416. A cover of a Prince song which is not on the list. So this is another example of I felt like the cover was better than the original. And that's Kiss. So I'm going to wait for people to get mad at me that Kiss by Prince isn't on the list. I just don't like it. But the Tom Jones cover is fantastic. The Tom Jones cover of Kiss is great. It's him and Art of Noise. Art of Noise was definitely a different kind of group. Very experimental in their sounds. So you're going to see them again during this countdown. I did feel like I went through a night where I was listening to a lot of Art of Noise while I was putting this countdown together. 1415. Not putting the other word on the board here, but we'll just say "Move" by Ludacris is on the board. There is a censored version. There's an uncensored version. I actually kind of prefer the censored version a little bit. But Ludacris at one point in time was red hot on the charts. Luda was kind of the guy, and it'd be like, okay, so Luda's in this, so it's going to go top 10. Yep. Oh, look at that. They got Luda in this. That's when we started to really see that emergence of videos with one artist, but they'd have a guest star, and then more, and then there's more, and it happened a lot. I know it still happens a lot now, but it doesn't feel like it happens now like it did back then. 1414. This is definitely not a pop tune, but were you a fan of Wasp? Wasp, there were a couple of different meanings for the word wasp that I heard out there, much like Kiss had, nefarious meaning to it. Wild Child by Wasp is just a fun hair metal song. I never bought all the satanic panic around some of these bands in the 80s. I never bought it with Wasp. I never bought it with Kiss at all. I was like, nah, these guys are they're making their money. They're playing their music. They're just enjoying themselves. If you want to take some kind of evil meaning out of it, all right, but this just shows that it's nothing new. To hear about how evil this music is or how evil, this is going to destroy your soul. Yeah, but it's catchy. So at least if I'm going to destroy my soul, at least it's catchy. 1413. Oh, wow. I think I can make this one fit. Deep Purple. Deep Purple, Knocking on Your Back Door. Knocking on Your Back Door is a good one. I remember listening to that. I have their greatest hits on CD, so I've listened to that one a few times. It's not my favorite from them. You will hear from them again on this countdown, but 1413, it's a harmless spot for them. 1412. So if you want proof that my wife and I have very different tastes in music, you will see a lot of Bon Jovi on the list. She Don't Know Me by Bon Jovi. I'm not sure if I got Blaze of Glory by John Bon Jovi. If I didn't, that's a shame, but it's forgivable, and we'll just forget about that for now. That would have gone probably in the 600 to 700 range. But She Don't Know Me by Bon Jovi's done a 1412. This is before You Give Love a Bad Name, when they weren't quite as polished as they became later. And honestly, Fahrenheit 7800, I think it was the name of the album. Wasn't a bad one either. That was the one before Slippery When Wet. 1411. Okay, so now we get into a more modern song. So I'm not putting a lot of wrestling themes on here. They kind of had to be a hit outside of wrestling. So you're not going to see Evolution. You're not going to like Line in the Sand, The Game, those ones. I may do like a WWE centric list. But Never Gonna Stop by Rob Zombie was used by Edge, but it was already a hit song anyways. At least I think so. But either way, it is a hit song. It's a good song. And so Rob Zombie comes in at 1411. At 1410, this is from around the turn of the century. Where Is the Love by Black Eyed Peas. So this was their breakthrough hit. This is where they went mainstream because Fergie. Black Eyed Peas before Fergie and after Fergie, yeah, very, very different. And understandable. You're going to want to lean in. You're going to be like, hey, there's this beautiful blonde lady that's now doing singing with us. It changes her sound totally. Plus, she's a beautiful blonde lady, so odds are we might get some more radio play and more attention. And sure enough, they did. And, Fergie ended up being a big star in her own right. I don't think I have any Fergie songs on the list. I'm pretty sure I don't. Which is fine. Yeah. London Bridge is kind of like, I enjoy the video, I think, more than the song. The song's it's not great. Unless you really like horns. All right, 1409. Okay. Now we're back into the 80s here with this one. Alan Parsons Project, Prime Time. Fun song. Alan Parsons Project was one of those bands that I discovered when I was about 11, 12 years of age, and loved them right out of the gate. I like the name, Alan Parsons Project. I just felt like that's a fun sound, and I was won over by the song Don't Answer Me, and then Prime Time was the second single from that, and then Let's Talk About Me was the one after, but Let's Talk About Me was on the next album. So, you're going to see some Alan Parsons Project on this list. This is just the first of many. 1408. Okay, this one, I think I can make it fit. Yeah, The Pretty Reckless, Effed Up World. So, and of course, it's not bleeped. Pretty Reckless is a band that I really want to see live. They did open for AC/DC in Vancouver at BC Place, but I did not go and see AC/DC. I really wanted to see Pretty Reckless, though. I've seen footage of their concerts. They're fantastic. Taylor Momsen is an excellent singer and front woman, and so it is a shame that I didn't go get to see them live. Maybe next time. 1407. Speaking of good front women, I debated about whether or not to put Never by Heart on the list, but it gets stuck in your head. It's a catchy song. Heart was a band that I liked quite a bit when I was a kid as well, so goes in at 1407. 1406. Man, more of the 80s. And I know people will say, well, it shows your age. Well, yeah, this is when I was a kid listening to music. So if you remember certain songs from when you're a kid listening to music, you don't have that experience as an adult. It's completely different. So the attachment I had to Mr. Mister's album, Welcome to the Real World, and the title track I could have put on the list, I did not. But I put Uniform of Youth on here. 1406, very good song. Interestingly enough, All Star Wrestling out of Vancouver, all of their wrestlers used songs from the ZZ Top album with Sleeping Bag on it, not Eliminator, the one after Eliminator. After yeah, somebody Afterburn or whatever, Afterburner. But yeah, then Welcome to the Real World by Mr. Mister song. People were using every song from that album too. I thought that was fun. I thought it was fun that two albums that I had, and they were using all those songs for pro wrestlers. 1405. Okay, so people are going to know this one. It's another relatively long title. I tried to make all the columns the same size, but if you followed me on the Hockey Channel, you know that that's always an issue. Oh, I'll learn how to write. I think my arm's just like, okay, that's enough. Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera. Good song. Catchy. Christina Aguilera or Britney Spears. That was the debate. Christina Aguilera, great singer, very good natural talent. Britney Spears, very catchy songs, not a strong singer. So, Genie in a Bottle, good song. I still have the memory of a young lady singing it really quite loudly in her vehicle. And my ex came out of a store that I was waiting for outside. She came out of the store and she says out loud, "Is that Christina Aguilera? Man, she sucks live." Not understanding that what she was hearing, the singing she was hearing, was actually this girl in the car who was maybe 6 feet from us. The singing stopped immediately. My laughter didn't stop for about 20 minutes. I must have laughed for 20 minutes. I thought that was hilarious. And that poor girl was probably lied to at some point and told she was a really good singer. And if she's watching this now, whoops. 1404. I didn't know who she was, and I still don't know who she was. 1404. So, another Canadian band. Yeah, got to get the Canadian stuff in there. Triumph. Spellbound. No, Lay It on the Line is not on the list. So, sorry, hockey fans, Lay It on the Line didn't make the list, but Spellbound did. One of the things that gets me frustrated is when a band that I really like, when a song is picked for whatever reason for a commercial, and I'm like, that's the wrong one. Why'd you pick that one? That one's not great. Lay It on the Line is that for me with Triumph. Spellbound, I think, is a great song. And there are other Triumph songs on this list. I think I have 2 other Triumph songs on this list. Might even be 3. All right, 1403. Moving on. How about some Kenny Loggins? No, it's not Danger Zone. Not yet. I hear a jet outside, so we're going to get into the Danger Zone pretty soon here locally. Which is all right. Kenny Loggins, Meet Me Halfway. It's kind of schmaltzy, but it's the 80s. Everything was kind of schmaltzy in the 80s. And it is a fun song that, yeah, I think Kenny Loggins was a good singer. And Playing with the Boys isn't on the list. I always admired that Top Gun embraced the ambiguous interests of the males. We'll put it that way. When they're playing volleyball on the beach, you look at that now and you go, huh, this has a whole energy to it I didn't pick up on when I was a little kid. It's everybody shirtless and having fun on the beach. This is it's different. So yeah, I'm not offended or anything, just different. Meet Me Halfway by Kenny Loggins, 1403. 1402. Oh, this is a long title too. So it's Starship. Nothing's going to stop us now. We Built This City is not on the list. You know what's funny too is We Built This City, people actually listen to it now and they play it, and I hear it at sporting events and whatnot. Everybody hated that song coming out of the 80s. Everybody kind of agreed. I've seen lists of the worst song of the 80s. We Built This City was usually near or at the top of the list. And worst video of the 80s, We Built This City's up there too. Although Twilight Zone by Golden Earring has to be the worst video of the 80s, which is sad because that song is really high on my list, just the video is not. But Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship, a fun song. All right, rounding out this portion of the countdown, Our Lady Peace. So another Canadian artist. Our Lady Peace and Starseed. Starseed's a good song. I didn't see Our Lady Peace when they came to Abbotsford. My wife went, though. My wife is a big fan of Our Lady Peace. Personally, for me, there's a few of their songs I like, but in general, Our Lady Peace is not one of my favorites. But there you go, 1401 through 1450. And we will continue this countdown. Obviously, these videos are going to be on the longer side. I knew that was going to happen, so I'm not going to be doing them every day. But now that I've started the countdown, it's guaranteed I will finish it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and I think this is fun. I enjoy talking about music too, so I will talk to you again soon.